a lot of interesting trades. Dollar, which probably in a sell-off should get weaker, is actually getting stronger. Not much stronger, but we got up to 118.16 on the euro, and today we're 117.74. So, that's sort of setting the table of what I see. I'm going to throw it over to you. I'm sure you got a lot of insight, and just interested to hear what you think.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning. Yeah, you started with ADP, the economic indicators out today. I don't know if we can kind of rely on these numbers. Yeah, we're gonna have the jobs number, the big jobs number tomorrow. Um, I've seen a lot of times ADP says one thing, a few days later the NFP number comes out, the big jobs number comes out saying something completely different, and so I don't know. But what I did see as a big one yesterday, and you talked about it, was the Nasdaq dropping, and you look at the Russell 2000 yesterday; it was up 1%. Nasdaq was down about 1%. It kind of reminds me a little bit of July 16th of last year. I don't know if you remember. This was like a couple of weeks right before the Japanese carry trade broke. All of a sudden, you started to already see some turbulence in the market that I think most people didn't pick up on until the Japanese carry trade actually broke. I'm not saying something big is going to happen right now. I don't think it will. But last year, around this time, you had the Russell go up on July 16th, like 3% in one day, and the Nasdaq dropped like 3% the same day. It was a historic divergence. And look, yesterday wasn't historic, but what I did see yesterday was a lot of value stocks. And you look at the charts on these things; they've gotten hammered. They're in a they've been in a big downtrend. Like all the top value stocks. Look at GM. Um, Look at stuff like even Conagra. A lot of these value stocks, a lot of the utility plays, all the top ranked value stocks, all their charts look very similar, and they all had a big pop yesterday. So maybe that is the trade for the summer, is to start picking off some of these hammered value stocks. Um, so that's what I saw yesterday, and I'm kind of focusing on that today. But the GM chart looks really good to me.
I'm not convinced off of one day's trading. Okay. And now today being the second day, that this is at all going to hold. But, if you want to look at the markets, every market made a new high other than the Dow. So they're buying Dow because it didn't make a new high. Um, and the NASDAQ extended out significantly. It's just funny to me that nobody wants to take a profit. Nobody. Nobody. You've had one of the most, you want to talk about epic, from the low in S&P was 48.30. I think it was in March. Okay. Um, all the way up to 6,300 basically, or 62.30. You're talking about 14 or 1,500 points. You're talking about almost a 40% up move, and no one wants to sell a share of anything. It's the most incredible thing that I've ever seen, and it's probably the biggest move that I've ever seen in 2 months. I mean, or three, probably 3 months. So I think the market is utterly complacent. Like right now, the S&P is down 4 points. Okay, the number was a complete disaster.
The
This number,
Nasdaq is at yesterday's low, pretty much.
okay, and the S&P is probably nowhere near the low of yesterday. Or
No,
who
nowhere near.
cares about the low of yesterday? That's like one trading day. I'm not looking at that. Okay, I mean the funny thing is, I'm looking. I would sell S&P. Okay, and I would actually buy Nasdaq, but I would buy Nasdaq by not buying the futures, but selling an out of the money put spread that is about 1% to a 1.5% lower than this. and I think that trade will work out for you. And I think this unwind in S&Ps, it has to come. They just keep buying and buying and buying. Like even last night, I was up in the middle of the night. It's just relentless buying. It doesn't take a lot, but the key fundamental is coming tomorrow, dude. You think it's going to be a positive day if they print a negative non-farm payroll number? I mean, that that hasn't happened. I don't even know when the last time they had a negative non-farm payroll is, but it's years. It's years. I mean, years and years and years. We've created jobs pretty much every month for years. So I don't know if that's a seed change, and that lets you realize that Powell is late to the party, and he knows. Listen, he said it yesterday. He knows he needs to cut rates. He just knows he can't. And you know what? We haven't really talked about, which I really want to get into a little bit, is there's 5 days till the tariffs hit again, or six, whatever. I think it's
And
the
he's not
ninth.
moving the deadline either.
Oh, he'll listen to me. Come on. He's moving whatever. And whatever he has to do, they're either doing 17 trade deals in 4 days or 3 days, or they're moving the deadline. And if he doesn't do that, it's going to rain terror on the market, and we will definitely have a correction, okay? Because it's in the market 100% right now, 100 Eric% that they are going to do that. So, market is pricing that. Nobody talks about tariffs, cares about tariffs, but it's interesting to me. He keeps coming out with these like, verbal, things. I don't know. Like he'll just pop out. Oh, Japan doesn't want to do a deal and they're in trouble and da 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 da. I mean, how are they doing a deal with Japan in 4 days? You know, Canada. He was complaining about some tax. Okay, they took the tax away. He never said a word saying, okay, that's great. Let's do a deal. Let's sit in a room. He's like, we're not talking to you. So don't you think this is going to come back to roost on these
No,
people?
no, because the China deal in London didn't have tariff rates get lowered.
Yeah, they
In
did.
fact, after that China deal, Trump comes out with a tweet basically antagonizing China, and he was like, "We're getting tariffed at 10%. You're getting tariffed at 55%. USA, USA." So
Okay.
he did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
they
the
keep,
market didn't care. The
but
market
they right because they
fought that.
know that it's fake, Eric, until it's real. They're the market in every aspect right now, from what I see, and I'm just one guy sitting in
You
Boca
think the
Raton,
market
Florida.
thinks it's fake? You think the market thinks it's like some
I
magic
think the
trick?
market
Like,
is priced
ta-da.
for I I think the market is priced for utter perfection. Utter perfection. That this jobs number is going to be good, that good, not too good, but good, okay? But now we have a negative number. If we have to deal with a negative jobs number, that's really 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 interesting. I mean, really interesting. So we're going to see how all of that parses out, okay? You have trade deals on the horizon next week, okay? Of which he hasn't even listen. They're trying to pass this bill, which is really touchy. Okay, it's actually a horrendous, horrendous bill. Horrendous. I didn't read the whole thing, obviously, but just the tidbits look really bad. And I think a lot of the reason why the bond might be selling off is because of this. Is the fact that they have to finance a lot more debt coming down the pipe. Okay, they're cutting. Like, why do we need to cut
Right,
tax?
and where's the demand? I agree with you. And where's the demand for that debt going to come from? The demand for our debt is going down. I think that's why you see the dollar struggling the way it is, even though the stock market is at an all-time high. So you have this like parallel, deglobalized, anti-dollar theme at play. So I think yeah, that's why rates are doing what they're doing, and maybe I step into my short bond trade even more today. I think you're right. I think my bear case in my mind, I have my bull case. You got your bear case, but my bear case is the market will finally react to the downside when they realize that there's a lag to the inflation effect of tariffs and of everything else. And at the end of the year, I think we're going to have a interest rate situation rather than a situation where the market drops because of tariffs.
Maybe. I just look at the market right here, and I'm not under. I mean, why is the bond getting destroyed? Is it because it can't be off the number? It's got to be off something in the bill or something out there. And then the weird thing is, like
It could
yesterday,
also
rates.
just be technical. The 30-year yield hit a pretty interesting technical point yesterday, so maybe people are taking profit on the bond also.
I don't know. Do we just move 10 basis points? That's a pretty big move, or 8 basis points. That's big. So there's been a sea change. What's interesting to me is yesterday gold rallied $30 plus, okay, because bonds were strong, and, the dollar was whatever, weak again. Now the dollar is strong, okay, or stronger, and bonds are getting shellacked,
You're
which is
still in your
higher.
agreement?
And then gold is I mean, it's not rallying a lot, but it's up where it should have been down. And it's interesting, it was down overnight. But literally me looking at the S&P, the thing can't go down. It's the most amazing market I've ever seen. I mean, it's barely down. It's up on the week. Nasdaq's down about 1.5% on the week, or 1%, and the S&P is up. Okay, the Dow's up 500 points. So all this is you pointed it out, and it's important for our viewers to know this is a lot of what you saw with the sector rotation when you talked about it, when it went off the chain and blew people out, where Russell went up like 5%, and the Nasdaq went down 5% or
Yeah,
whatever.
it reminds me a little bit of that. Yeah.
Right, but the funny thing is, if you held that trade, which it's only you could hold a 10% move trade, so you probably held it. But if you held that trade, it was career. It came back in a massive way, and the Russell never did anything, and the Nasdaq rallied 30%. So,
Well,
you
those are
know,
the big trades. If you can sit in the, I didn't get full capture and nothing with actual big money behind it. But if you got the money behind it and you could sit in a macro trade like that, that's where, right? Or Larry, that's where the big
I
bucks are.
I don't do that. Okay, I leave that to you're my guy that does that. I ran $1 billion, okay, for a lot of years, and that's a lot of money for one individual to run. And I never traded like that. I never ever let like an opinion like that, if it wasn't working, like get me in a position where I had to hold and hold and hold and hold. We're chippers, for the opportunistic trader. We
I'm a
chip
chipper
out.
as well, but a little bit different. I've picked up the chipping from you a lot, and I think that's a good thing.
Well, you just want to add P&L. I mean, it's very difficult in this tape. That's why I got this grizzly beard, because it's really annoying. Like, I know I can buy the S&P down 8 and make money, okay, which makes no sense. The number today is actually horrific. If it actually comes out tomorrow, I doubt they'll print a negative number, just because these numbers are rigged. That. So you won't see a negative number, but you may see a weaker number. And I think really today, looking at the market, the real takeaway is the bond market and why it's so weak into such a weak number. And don't you think there's issues with this big, beautiful bill? I
I think there's
mean,
a lot of issues. I
well, you
agree.
think it's going to pass today? I mean, I don't think they're even going to bring it. I don't think they have what they need. I think people are afraid. What I don't understand is, he brought in Elon Musk and Doge to cut everything, to basically fire people, cut waste, this, that. This bill is all waste. Okay, why are we cutting taxes on the wealthy? They need more tax cuts. Why do we need more tax cuts on the wealthy? I'm just trying to understand it. To stimulate the economy? I think the economy is pretty stimulated. We're at a
Well,
record high. So I don't know, why are they cutting on these guys?
well,
Very, very
when
weird.
this thing originally came out, I thought it was excellent because I thought that the standard deduction increase, the tax credit extension, all these tax cuts, I thought they were necessary actually because to offset the effect of tariff,
Hmm.
right? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be this lag effect, which
Yeah,
I
but how
predict.
do we know what's going to happen with
And
tariffs? Nobody.
people are going to need to pay for that offset with some sort of offset. So I thought that, but then
Well, who's the
all
timeout? Timeout.
all the
Who's
other
the?
stuff in it, all the pork, right? To
Yeah,
Elon
but
Musk,
who are the people? Who are the people that need it? I'm not understanding. You're
middle
saying,
class and the poor.
but they're not touching them.
No, no, they are. They're increasing the standard deduction. Um,
They are not
it's
touching
big.
them.
When you
This
talk,
is,
that's a direct.
dude, they're cutting all medical services, Medicare. I mean, they're saying that so many people are not going to have insurance. It's ridiculous. I don't even know why they need it. I don't. Why do you need this bill to stimulate the economy? The economy is fine and stimulated. Okay, if that guy took off tariffs, okay, rates would be at 3.5% or three. Okay, on the short end. Okay, and the economy would be much more stimulated. So it's the fact that he wants to tariff people, which we've discussed, and I'm really sick of talking about it. That we're tariffing ourselves. We're the one that's getting hit with the tariff. No one else. There's no one else getting hit with the tariff other than us.
We're making billions of dollars in revenue now, extra every month,
Dude,
and
honestly, that's not even look in your pocket right now. Look down in your pocket. If you find a 20, that means more to you than what we're getting in revenue service on whatever tariffs he's having. It's not touching anything. Dude, did you look at the federal debt? Go by in New York City, drive in today and look at the debt clock. Okay? You can't even touch that thing. Okay? So the bottom line is this is a dot on an elephant. Okay? I mean, this is a zero, honest zero. Okay? I know he's going to add X billions. Who cares? Dude, the spending is out of control. It's freaking
yeah,
out
that's
of
the issue, and
control.
that doesn't help. The whole point of tariffs was basically okay, the fairness thing and make America great. I get it,
No,
but it's also to reduce the deficit, and then this bill kind of does the opposite, right?
I
That's
don't
why
know.
Elon Musk.
Why don't you tax the rich a little bit? They'll pay the deficit. You think like if I had to pay an extra $5,000 at the end of the year, it would kill me? It wouldn't kill me. I don't want to pay it, okay, but it wouldn't kill me. And I'm sure if Elon Musk had to pay 50 million or 200 million, it wouldn't even matter. The guys were $400 billion. I mean, come on, Eric. There's so many better ways to do this, but it's just
Here's a
crazy.
good way.
And
So,
then
like, the rich should like pick 10 people in the middle class that they like and just give that extra tax to them directly. Why does it have to go through the government? But
what are
that's a
you
whole
talking
nother
about, dude? What I'm trying to get is why we need this bill. Like why? Like to stimulate the economy? Like like what are
Every
we trying?
president comes in, and in their first term, they want to pass something big.
But that wasn't what he was elected on. He was elected on coming into the government, which was the original reason he was elected, drain the swamp, clean it up. And finally, we were in a good position to probably do that. And then the guy went totally the other way and now is spending like a wild man. And then now, I don't know if you're seeing, they're pulling like senators or whatever into rooms to give them extra money or extra deals just so that they'll vote for it. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, I think in the back of a lot of people's minds, obviously no one loves this bill. I mean, I've been watching a lot of news TV and they have a lot of people on and they're, you know, saying the CBO is wrong and all of this stuff. But there's a lot of people that do not like this bill. So, and they're voting yes. So it's,
The Senate was split 50-50. JD Vance was the tiebreaker. So I mean, it wasn't.
yeah, but my question is, I thought that the Republicans killed it in the election. So they didn't kill it too bad if they have to rush the guy to the White House to the floor to be the tie-breaking vote. And I think if they had the votes right now, they'd be voting today. Why are they going to wait till, July 4th? And better than that, why do they have a deadline? Like what's the difference? Trump just put a deadline on for for no
Yeah,
reason.
he wants to pass this before July 4th. So Mike Johnson is going to want to do that. He's a big ally for Trump. I think they'll try to do something even today at some point.
No chance. They don't have the votes, or else it would have been
Maybe
done.
they don't have the votes. Maybe
They
they
don't
don't.
have the votes. They don't. But my
So what do you think
question is,
happens if
what
they don't have
happens?
the
What
votes?
happens later today when they basically say they can't vote it? Okay, is that bullish? Yeah, I know, bullish. Everything's bullish, no matter what, dude. It's like we bombed Iran, okay, which we didn't even really hurt them in any way. That just is swept under the rug. It doesn't matter. The ceasefire in Israel, none of it matters. It's like day trading. The news is like day trading. Like I think me looking at the
But
market,
Larry, it doesn't matter. It
it's
doesn't
price.
matter to the
This
U.S.
is
market.
price
It doesn't
for
matter.
this
It
is
didn't even matter to the Israeli stock market. I mean, we looked at those charts, right?
What are you talking about? That market rallied good and we exploded. What I'm
Right. So
saying
if
is,
it didn't matter there, why would it matter here?
but it did matter there. Their market exploded up and we exploded up. I'm saying I'm looking at it after the fact today. Why is no one talking about it? Why is there no advancement of anything? Why are we sitting and letting the Iranians rebuild back what they had before? It's really, really bizarre. It's bizarre. You should put the
Yeah,
hammer down.
that part, yeah, that's bizarre for sure. Yeah.
Why not put the hammer down on them? They don't want to. They don't want to put the hammer down. You know, so put the hammer down. Get
Politics, man,
they were
politics.
talking about regime change. They had the guy in the sights. He was going to be gone, and then now everything's fine. They don't even talk about it. It's not even a thought in anybody's mind. So things are, in my mind, around the board, and it's not about the next day or whatever, but everything is priced for perfection here. And we've had an epic move, and the market can't even correct the percent. It's shocking. But once we start going down, I think it could get a little bit interesting here. There's a lot of cross currents that I'm looking at in the market that don't really make a lot of sense. They don't make a lot of sense. Gold doesn't make any sense to me. Oil, I liked at 65. It's
What,
up
what
a
don't
little.
what doesn't make sense about gold? It's a commodity, and you have a major buyer constantly buying gold, which is global central banks. They're
Dude,
buying gold,
gold is going to go down a
buying,
lot.
and they're buying, and they will
Gold is
continue
going to
buying.
go down a lot. That's all I could tell you. I don't know when. Gold is overowned by CTAs. It's overowned in general. It's had 3 really good years or 4 really good years. And
It had two really
I'm
good.
looking for, dude, the thing's up 27%. I'm not looking for, I'm not looking for 30%. I'm looking for 10, 20%, 10, 15 in this commodity. And once that gets going, it's going to go lower. And it just, the fundamentals to me of what I look at, this doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. But whatever. I mean, it's a trade, it's a commodity. It should move off of certain things. It's not. I think today is interesting. I think there's going to be, for all our subscribers that are joining, I think there's going to be some movement today. I think there's going to be some headlines that are going to pop out today that could move us pretty decently. So keep an eye
Yeah,
on
I think there's a feel to today, actually, like that. I'm
why, because
getting a little
we're
concerned about.
down 10 handles. Right, we're crashing, dude. The
I don't know
best.
what we're
You
doing,
know
but I
what?
could see.
I
I
was
see.
actually gonna try to get off this podcast today without like getting on you. But dude,
Yeah,
the one thing I know about you is you think 10 handles or 20 handles is a lot, but every time we go down 100, 150, 200, you're whitewashed. So it's funny, you're the dip buyer. I mean, so the question
I've
is the
never
dip
shorted the market before. Okay, I
barely.
didn't short
I don't
Nasdaq yet.
know. We've been working together how long? 5 years,
Long
6 years?
time, man. Long
Probably
time.
like
You've
probably
seen
like
me
three
bearish out of
three
my mind. I
times.
don't know what you're talking about.
3 times in 6 years, it's okay. You're my bull guy. But I just think, and I've seen it with you, and I see it with a lot of traders. Every time we have an extended down move of more than, what do you call it? I love it when you go like, what is it? We used to call it VAR. It's one
Yeah,
standard deviation.
one
You're the
sigma
big one
rule, one
standard
standard
deviation.
deviation. Yep,
One
yep.
standard deviation, dude. We haven't had a down one standard
I
deviation
know.
in 5 months.
How has the straddle been holding up so long every day? It's like a 25-point straddle every day, and
Is
somehow
that
it
where
holds.
it's got to be higher today?
No, it's not. It's actually like 24.
Yeah, so the market's going to rally. That's all. Just means the market's going to rally.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and really,
I don't know. I'm looking at these CTA positions right here. I'm not going to share the chart, but the gold, dude, no, no, they're not. They're not. The
as
CTA is
as it
not.
goes, as it just dropped $8. All good, bro. You're right. I know it's going to just keep going up every day forever. It's free
Yeah.
money, free
Yeah.
money, dude. I mean, dude, everybody
You know,
is
the
long.
euro is down today, right? And gold is up. You would expect if a traditional thinking trader would expect, hey, the dollar is up, I'm going to short gold, yet gold is up. What
But
is
gold's up,
down is the euro.
Eric. Gold's up $5 or whatever. It's not
Okay.
up. It's not up. It's not
Not
doing
down
anything.
though.
It's had a $20 range on the whole trading day. It's a zero trade.
My
Yeah,
point is, gold hasn't been following traditional thinking patterns for 2 years now. That's a long time to break traditional relationships.
dude,
That
I'm
means
I'm looking for a down 100-point move in gold. I'm not looking to
that's
change
nothing.
I'm not looking to change the evolution of mankind. Okay, don't worry, you can stay bullish forever. If I get $100 in gold, I'll dance around the room. That's
That's
what
a
I'm
lot
looking
of
for.
money.
I'm looking for a minimum of 100. Okay, I
Okay.
thought we were going to get it when we tested the low. We rallied $60 off the low in the last 2 or 3 days. I don't know why we got down to that lower level. The market, I'm looking at my board right now on Bloomberg. Every commodity, this is the only commodity that's even like this. Okay, I can go through them.
What do you mean?
Oil,
Go look at
oil's
copper.
down. Oil's down. Gasoline's up small. Nat gas is crushed. Okay,
By the way, oil looks like
metals
a
are
good trade.
what?
Oil is a good trade. You in that?
I'm not in that. No, I liked it at 65. It's just not moving fast enough for me, so I'm sitting. But metals
Okay.
are up. Metals are up. But individual metals like nickel, iron ore, rebar, all down. Okay, aluminum flat. Okay, all of the cattle market, the wheat, soybeans, all commodities are lower. Okay, so this looking at my board up 30% looks like an anomaly to me, but again, we'll have to just keep an eye. What's interesting and what I'm going to do today is I want to buy the DAX and sell US. So that's the trade I'm doing. I've been pointing that trade out in the other direction over and over again. Year to date, the DAX is now only up 17.5%, right? Okay. When we looked at it, it was up 23. The DAX has actually come in 6% in the last 2 weeks, and the S&P has rallied 5% or 4%. So that trade is out about 10%.
I knew Tesla was a long yesterday. Why didn't I freaking buy it? It's popping off some news right now on second quarter deliveries.
They're
And
amazing.
yesterday it fell. I'm sorry to interrupt. It just like breaking, like the news just came out. But like, so whatever uptick you see in the Nasdaq, that's Tesla.
They move 10 Nasdaq points. I'm not getting too crazy. I mean, I don't know.
But
Listen,
the drop, like this is the like, why did Tesla drop yesterday? Because him and Donald Trump had another thing on Twitter again. Okay, you had a much bigger feud when he was coming out the door like 3 weeks ago. Tesla collapses, goes all the way back up, and so that was bigger than what the news was out yesterday. It was like an obvious buy, if you
dude,
operate.
you know what I love about you? You are
I didn't
literally,
buy it. I don't know why I didn't buy
you're a
it. It's because you
literally
told me
no,
all day, and
dude.
you're bearish out of your mind, and I didn't buy Tesla.
I'm short Tesla, actually.
Yeah.
I'm short Tesla right now. So I'm short Tesla.
It's like
Um,
through osmosis, I'm getting like more
Yeah,
bearish,
but I'm short a call spread, so my call spread's not even in the money yet. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Um, I
So
listen.
that's the stock to watch
I got to
today.
be honest with you.
Yeah.
The the put options are bid up very high right now for today that I'm seeing. I haven't seen high bids like this in a while. So something I think is
They've
going to be.
actually been like this. I've noticed that too, but I don't think today's in the not. They've been like this, like where.
No, no, they haven't. No, absolutely
Really?
not.
Okay.
No, not that I see. Listen, everybody and their mother is bullish. That's all you got to know. So I don't know how this shakes at the end of the day. I don't know how it shakes out, but everybody's bullish. And I think today could be interesting because I think the big beautiful bill is going to have a big beautiful problem. So
That's a good one.
you
That is
know,
good.
I'm
That's
just
a
saying that's just what I see. Um,
that's a
but I'm selling some put options much lower than the market, and they're buying them all. So that you know, that's interesting.
Bitcoin came back from overnight lows.
Dude, Bitcoin is such a no trade. Dude, you're gonna wake up. That thing's gonna be down like 20,000 points. I mean, I
No,
know it's gonna go
I
up.
think the
Look,
opposite. I think I'm
you,
gonna wake up. It's gonna
I'm
dip.
not even gonna talk about Bitcoin in this podcast because I just don't want to. But literally, no matter what Bitcoin ever does, you're bullish on that too. You're bullish on everything. Literally,
Yeah,
gold,
yeah.
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin,
S and
I'll be bullish.
P's. What else? You're bullish on literally
Yeah, I
everything.
have long. I have things where my bias is long only. I
Why?
look at it technically.
Why? You're a
Why? Not?
professional trader. You should have no bias.
Yeah. Well, it because it actually it's to me it's a good way to trade. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Listen,
I
man.
don't know
Any,
why.
I've
Why not?
managed. I've
Why do you
managed.
do what you do? I don't
I've
know.
managed. I don't have an opinion. I am
Yeah,
skewed to the
yes,
down.
you do.
I am skewed to the downside off of. I'm a mean reversion guy. So when we were cracking down, I was buying. Okay. When we're going and doing this shit, okay, I'm not doing. I'm walking away from it, but I'm not buying in here. I'm waiting for
Larry,
the market
when it's doing this, there is no
because
mean. The
nothing lasts forever, dude. And when it changes, dude, you saw it this year. I know you were the only guy that could sustain a 30% down move. I mean, come on,
I
dude.
wasn't long through that.
I understand what I'm saying though is that move should have wiped everyone out. But the bottom line is dude, the way markets used to be is you'd have a move like that, then you'd have a bounce, you'd have a consolidation, you'd have a trade back and forth. The market would, make people sell. And now the market doesn't make people sell. And as we're on the air right now, the bottom line is the market's positive on the day again, you know? And
Yeah, that's
and
all
it's all
Tesla.
because Tesla sold a little bit of cars. I mean, come on, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous. I know Tesla now is doing amazing. They were doing really bad. Now they're doing amazing. I mean, come on. You got $1 trillion company. You got to sell a lot of cars to sustain $1 trillion company. But whatever. This is what it is. You gotta respect it. And the market, does what it does. And right now it's ridiculous. My other than the S&P, which will be green in about 5 minutes, the entire board is green. And it's funny, just because of Tesla, which is like a percent, okay, not even, um, or a couple of percent, changed the entire market. Literally. Now the Dow stinks and the Nasdaq is rallying. So you're telling me it's one stock that's doing this? It's kind of crazy. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You say the dollar is strong today. The dollar is barely strong. Nothing's going on, and it's doing better against the British, a little better against the euro, very much little, and the yen is in the same spot. Um, looking at the board, it's everything's green on my board, pretty much, other than the S&P and Nasdaq.
You're
And
still in your euro, right? You're still short the euro.
Mhm.
Yeah, I said maybe.
Not a good trade. Not a good trade.
I think it
Um,
will become good.
you think so?
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Check this out. It just hit my tape. Microsoft stocks at an all-time high, right? Doing great, right? Just laid off 10,000 people.
We've seen that before with these tech companies. The
I
headline.
get it, but why would they need to lay off people if they're
Maybe they
expanding?
don't need them to code as much. We were talking about Salesforce yesterday. 60% of their code
No, you don't need any of
written
these
by
employees.
AI.
You're gonna need no employees. Eventually it's gonna be all robots running around and three guys programming. It'll be like one of those horror stories that you see on TV where the robot takes over, and kills everybody. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, we're far from that. But I just don't get it. I'm being honest. I don't get what's going on in the market. I just don't get it. It's bizarre. Every day is a new reason to buy. Um, there's no negative. There's no negative news in the market. What's the negative news in the market? Like ever? Like, let's say they don't pass the bill. Oh, don't worry. Let's say the ceasefire breaks. Oh, don't worry. Oh, trade deals.
If
Eric,
they
how
don't
many?
if they don't pass the bill, it'll be a positive because it will reduce the deficit, and if they pass the bill, it will be a positive because uh, people are going to pay less tax.
I don't know.
Either way you look at it, it's a positive.
Well, right. And when you see that, that's when the market gets ready to freaking get smashed. So, the market
In Bitcoin,
literally,
I'm seeing some stuff underneath the index that is kind of getting me like, okay, I've seen this before.
I haven't seen anything to get
Well, we
me.
had that first. I just don't know if the rotation yesterday was because they jammed the market up into quarter end and it was a 1 day reversal, or is this a start of a new trend? I don't know.
Bro, they jammed the market up 5 days in a row into quarter end. And every night, just for people watching out there, every night the imbalances are billions to buy. So I'm waiting, and it may be tonight, for stock for sale. We haven't seen stock for sale in weeks and weeks and weeks. So every night it's to buy. The market just continually is going higher. I don't understand the markets out there. I honestly don't. I don't understand. Tesla sold a couple of more cars. So what? I mean, come on. The
You
stock
think the
is,
rotation yesterday was just an unwind of the jam job into quarter end, or you think it's a start of a new trend?
I don't, I don't know. I think you got to buy.
It's the correct answer. I
All
also
you got
think.
to do is buy. I mean, I would tell you this: the Nasdaq doesn't look great. The S&P is up 20 handles on the week. I don't know how it's up this week after the way it ran. I think there's possibility, and the put pricing to me today looks higher than in general, than usual. So that makes me a little bit leery here of something bad.
Aren't puts always priced higher than calls?
No. A
No.
lot of times when they think it's to buy, the skew, it's called the pricing or the skew between puts and calls. Usually puts are always higher than calls just because it shouldn't be that way, but because of the fear factor of a crash or, a
Right.
down move. But there are many days where you look at skew and calls to be higher. A lot of times in equities, we see that. We see that in stocks. So, like, you could look at Tesla. Let's say there's a really bullish bias. Calls will actually be, um, you know, call calls will actually be higher than puts. So we'll see. We'll see. But listen, there's an inherent bias to buy. This is what I hear, and it makes me laugh. End of the quarter buying, beginning of the quarter buying, middle of the quarter buying. They got to buy today. They're not invested enough. And then you look at the market, and everybody is long. The retail public is really, really long here. So
And
I,
getting comfortable and getting more comfortable by the day.
I just
Which
don't understand. Tesla's a short to me. The thing is in trouble. He is not. When this bill passes, you're going to see things that you have never seen before from this guy. Okay. When this bill passes, he's going to start the assault. Okay. And it ain't stopping. So if you think that he's getting away with this, no chance. He's not letting Trump get away with this. If this bill passes, this stock, will be under pressure for the foreseeable future. Okay, I don't care what they sold. They sold 100 more cars than expected. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
And what do you think Musk does? I mean, I think what he does is uh, really make an attempt for a third party here in the U.S., which is ironic because he's an immigrant.
I don't see that. I think his thing is pumping money into into other candidates to try to skew the House and the Senate for the midterms, and they don't need a lot. They get three people elected, and they got control.
He doesn't like the Republicans. He doesn't like the Democrats.
To listen to me. He doesn't like. Come on, he doesn't like one thing, and you know what that is. He doesn't like the fact, okay, that Trump is passing a bill that is spending an insane amount of money and putting the country in a bigger debt. And it's very simple. I don't know why Trump wants to do it because he put Musk in there to basically cut everything. So it
Yeah,
just
to me
does.
that also. I just don't get that. I really don't. I was really excited about Doge. I was really excited about what Musk was going to bring to Washington, and now he's out. It's kind of. I
By,
don't know.
by the way, by the way,
It doesn't feel good. It feels like nasty politics. I thought he was going to bring in a breath of fresh air, and it's gone.
here's something I want to ask you, and then we're going to have to wrap because we're going really late. It's been fun today, but we're going late. Tesla reported deliveries down 15%. Okay. Declining deliveries of 15%, and the stock rallied. I mean, it's been coming in ever since. Now it's only up 4%. It's a short and a half. I mean, what's so good? I mean, they're declining deliveries 2 quarters in a row, which they never have. Okay. And things look shaky, and they're certainly not over with Trump. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to buy puts on that on the opening. But I just don't see how that looks so good. And, I don't even think, I think by the end of the day, it's going to be close to flat to maybe lower. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
I could see that because I love reverting all of these stupid news reactions to begin
Well,
with.
we'll see. But anyway, I don't know if you want to close with a thought. I have a couple of things I want to say, so I'm going to give it to you, and then I'm going to close us up as we're running really late today.
All right. Yeah, it was fun. So I'm looking a lot at, like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm looking a lot at the top ranked value stocks. I'm actually thinking that this summer, a lot of these value names that have been hit hard are going to come back relative to growth. I think Palantir doesn't look good, although I love the company. Technically, it doesn't look good. And a lot of companies like GM, top ranked value stocks, GM is number one. Beautiful breakout yesterday. I think that could continue. And yeah, I'm thinking about a long short, high value versus low value.
Yeah, it will work if the market finally has a correction. I want to leave sort of with this thought. Um, Scaring me a little bit that the bond market has such a negative reaction today. I don't understand it with a negative, ADP number. That's a little scary. Um, Dollar has very little strength. Again, want to lean short gold. I'm not doing anything in gold now. If gold reverses today and gets to the lows, I will sell more to get bigger. I think this position could work pretty well. And overall, the S&P is like a no trade, but I think you got to be careful out there today. There's just a lot of things. Like, when are they going to get to all these trade deals? I think it's July
Never,
9th. I mean,
never.
We're July
What are
7th.
they going to look like? They're going to look like the China deal. You give us rare earth, we'll give you some chips. All right. I don't think he's
What
lowering
does that
tariffs.
have to? What is it? Oh, okay. Well, nobody's going to sign a deal. That I can tell you. EU's not signing a deal at high tariff rates. No way. Why would they? So you might think guys are going to sign deals. No one's signing a deal unless he reduces the tariffs. That's my
Yeah.
opinion. So, we'll see how all that works. Again, focus on gold a little bit. I don't know why I have this strange feeling that it's going to sell off. S&Ps look strange to me. They're only down 7, but put pricing is high today. I sold a bunch of downside puts. I sell puts and sell futures, on stop as we move. That trade looks interesting. They bought a bunch of stuff from me. So we'll see. Literally Tesla.
What is that called? A covered put? Is that called a covered put?
No, I'm just selling puts. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
selling to make
covered, but
what you buy in
I'm
the future.
hoping never to go to the futures, but I always have stops because I don't want to be naked puts. So I got a bunch of stops in the market starting in the 20s. We're 15 handles away from that. It's not even close. But, if negative stuff comes out, that could hit. But anyway, it was fun. We're gonna be to everyone tomorrow for the last day of the week. There will be no Ask Me Anything show Friday because I'm gonna be on the beach for 4th of July, not lighting off any fireworks. But we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be on the air actually as the unemployment number comes out. So we're gonna help everybody get through that and give you good trade
That's gonna
ideas.
be fun.
Peace, everyone. Enjoy the day.